this is the Crawl Cosplay Challenge. I want to say it's week number 4. And this is going to be a Deep Elf of Lugonu. We're cosplaying as the Mad Acolyte of Lugonu, which is not exactly a unique, but is instead an enemy that can show up in the Abyss very rarely. It has kind of a neat tile, and, actually, I wonder if we can actually, Mons Mad Acolyte of Lugonu. I doubt this is going to work, but we'll see if we can get the tile. So anyhow, the rules of the challenge, if you want to do the maximum, points and honorable mentions and whatnot, basically we have, first of all, we have to play a Deep Elf. We have to be worshipping Lugonu before entering the Depths, Pandemonium, or Hell. So what's interesting about this one is we're actually allowed to swap gods. We can worship any god or gods, or even no god beforehand, and you can switch gods as much as you want. Ignore all the usual restrictions on following a god, so that means we don't have to be worshipping a god by the time we enter Lair or Orc. However, once you're following Lugonu, you can't switch. So if I start as an Abyssal Knight, I have to stick with Lugonu forever. Now, class-wise, this is a little different, because usually we're, on these cosplay challenges, we're sort of hamstrung by being forced to play a certain background, but this time we have a choice. We can play an Abyssal Knight, a Wizard, a Conjurer, or a Summoner. And since we're sort of forced to play as a Deep Elf, I think I'm going to take the game up on this offer. And I think we're gonna have to go Wizard. Probably. Get a gigantic amount of intelligence, that'd be cool. Alright, some more rules. Once we have entered any rune branch except for the Abyss, we have to be only attacking with distortion-branded melee weapons. Tomahawks of Dispersal and nets. Hey, Headless Odin, how you doing, man? I'm explaining the challenge here. So, we're allowed to wield staves and other weapons as long as we don't attack with them, and actually we're allowed to attack unarmed. So, reading this, I think that I'm going to bypass all this crap by just going stat form if I can. It does say that you have to have a distortion weapon in your inventory to qualify for the conduct. However, you can still enter rune branches before you have a distortion weapon. You're simply prohibited from attacking with non-distortion weapons. So it's kind of trying to force me to be a pure caster. Or force me to use a really obnoxious weapon, which we don't really want to do. Because, Disto is just really kind of irritating to use. Sorry to hear that you're sick, Headless Odin. Hope you feel better soon. If I sound a little out of breath, it's because I straight up just got done doing overhead press, and I was changing my technique a little bit. I think I'm improving my form, but it was pretty tiring. Anyway, one more rule. Two rules. We're not allowed to actually pick up the Abyssal Rune, which is fine. And we have to have the spell Malign Gateway castable at 10% failure rate or less without Brilliance. You do not actually have to have the spell memorized, though you can see your failure rate by looking up the spell. So we don't have to find Malign Gateway, we simply have to have it castable. Honestly, I don't understand. I think that is simply by the time you finish the game. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I don't think there's any kind of time limit, I don't have to do it before picking up a rune or anything like that. We just have to make sure we train a good bit of summoning and translocations, I suppose. Okay, a couple more things. For honorable mentions, we have to send a unique Panlord or a Lord of Hell to the Abyss, so we're going to be doing a little bit of extended today. Probably going to use a disto weapon for that. And here's the wackiest one. We're supposed to corrupt every single floor of the dungeon, depths, and Zot. So that's going to be a little bit of farming, I think, because that's going to require a lot of piety. That almost makes me want to play an Abyssal Knight, but Abyssal Knights basically blow, and they blow even worse when you're playing a race that's bad at melee. So we'll just, honestly, what I think we're going to do is we're probably, since we're allowed to God Swap today, hey, Janice, how you doing, man? I think, and hey, Legends of Strata, I don't remember if I said that, I think we are going to start with a Wizard, since we're allowed to, and we'll simply enjoy having high intelligence right off the bat. We might go Gozag, we might swap off. You know, as long as we don't enter Depths, Pandemonium, or Hell, then we are allowed to worship any god we want. Now, the only problem with this is I am going to have to find a way to send myself to the Abyss. So I either need to find a disto weapon, or I need to miscast, like a summoning spell or a translocation spell, which may be harder than it seems, although we could just put on some heavy armor or something. The tile is not working, and I don't feel like hunting for it, so just so this doesn't bust up any of the rest of my RC, we're going to just comment this tile out, or comment the line out, and we'll just have to live with not being a Mad Acolyte of Lugonu today. Not sure, I just don't want to hunt that down, basically. Okay, so conveniences of this challenge are that I actually don't have to, there's no special rules with my skilling. So I think we're just going to take Conjurations to 5 real quick, since we're starting as a wizard. And we'll get really good at blowing things up. Technically, if I was playing super optimally, I'd probably be training some fighting up to 1 first for the extra hit points, but because I'm not streaking, I can be kind of cute here and just go for the power plays for fun. Okay, that's a short sword. Got a weapon already. Got a trope of darts. Not that that means we're going to be training. There's a ringmail here. I'm probably not going to bother with it. Cursed plus 0 dagger. I like how we start with 7 mana. That's pretty damn good. Of course, that's just on account of being a deep elf. So anyway, with these challenges, because there are so many wacky little rules to them, I mainly like to pay attention to the things that I have to do by a certain time period. So the only parts of the challenge that we really need to be careful of, because, you know, things that we can sort of mess up, is I'm not allowed to enter the depths until I'm worshipping Lugonu. And then once I enter a rune branch, I have to stop attacking with things that are not disto weapons. So aside from those two things, there's really nothing that I need to be careful of. I mean, I suppose I have to not get the Abyssal Rune, but that's easy enough to remember. So, no depths, no rune, no attacking after the rune, after we go into a rune branch. That's going to be a little while for both of those. We're not going to need to worry about either of those, really, until we're, at a minimum, done with Lair. Probably done with Lair and Orc. Okay, this is fun. There's a hunting sling. And I'm allowed to use things that aren't disto right now, so we're going to go ahead and wear this. It could have been cursed, but I'm cool with that. If something's sleeping, I'll probably open up with a sling bullet. Okay, so for optimality, we ought to go ahead and learn Call Imp. Take summons to, I don't know, 3. And I'll learn Blink as well. Okay, so remember, my plan for getting around that silly weapons rule was to simply go for statue form, or blade hands or something. So we're going to be getting strength today, so that our melee is not super, super bad, and we'll slowly make that into something that's half decent. Of course, we could also just sort of cast things to survive. But because we're stuck with Lugonu, we really would like to be able to melee, on account of the fact that Lugonu does nothing for me in terms of gaining my mana back. So, kind of important. Although, we do get to do the lion's share of the game without using Lugonu. Alright, so this is about as smooth as you would expect early game with a deep elf to be. I mean, yeah, you can get one-shotted by certain things, but if you've got Magic Dart... Oh, hello. He's got a wand of polymorph. Oh god. This is a great place to call an imp. Yep, and we're polymorphed, but that's okay because we got 2 imps off. Very good. Also, I think Wisp gives us immunity to poison, so it's not bad. We're gonna try to dart these guys to death. That's funny. He tried to net me, and it completely failed. Ordinarily, I would be afraid of these nets, but the thing is that I can blink right out of them, so it's only a little bit dangerous. Granted, the blink could send me somewhere I don't want to be, as in right next to a null, so if I was streaking, I probably wouldn't do that. But I think that... Oh, hello. Sigmund. I should have memorized Meth Cloud by now. Whoops. Is he still coming? Yeah, he is. Imps, some imps see invisible. Check it out. I'm going to go ahead and memorize Mephitic Cloud. Conjure Flame. Put that on C. Whoa, right. He has a scythe. What am I thinking? Gonna go down. Go back up. He confuses me immediately. Go back up. Try to Meth Cloud him. I really probably wouldn't be fighting him if I was streaking. Oh, he just took the teleport. Alright. Confuses me, we go down. Meth Cloud. Flame. Just try to dart him to death. Ran out of mana, damn. You know what, why don't we just do this floor real fast. Level up one more time. Also, I should take Fire Magic to like 3 and Air Magic to maybe 3. Just to get kind of a nice baseline on these things. She should die. Yeah, she just straight up dies to Magic Dart. Magic Dart is surprisingly powerful. Ajib has a wand of random effects, which she won't use. Just use the sling. Sorry about the screen flashes. Wow. Didn't want to die. Anyway, that's our wand now. Very good. Could have polymorphed Sigmund, but just didn't really feel like it. Dagger of Venom. Alright. That opens up a lot of opportunities. Not that we get to use this after we enter a lair, or rather a rune branch. Alright, this is Zen. Now, what's interesting is I don't think Lugonu is considered evil, and I guess I can check on this. He's certainly considered chaotic. Oh, no, Lugonu's evil. Okay, I was gonna say maybe I could worship like TSO or Eli and not suffer wrath, but oh, hello. I made a huge mistake. I've just kind of been playing on autopilot. I didn't identify my wands. Whoops. I guess we gotta polymorph this. Good. That was a huge, enormous fault. Close this door. Identify. Identify. That was more likely than not to fail. Why don't we take evokes to 5? Identify this. Identify the single scroll. Enchant weapon. Alright, we'll enchant the dagger up to +3, why not? Do the telly. That was a fault as well. Drinking whiskey, playing risky here a bit, I have to say. Obviously, before you have teleport identified, you really would like to be on a staircase while you're read-IDing scrolls. That's okay, though. Oh, that guy has dispersal boomerangs. Kind of cool, I guess. One of the few items we're allowed to use as a weapon after we enter a rune branch, but we didn't get any. Okay, this is interesting. We could go into the Heppel altar here. As long as I swap off before going into Depths, or Howler Pandemonium. That's kind of interesting, I guess, because the Wrath for Hepleikana is just that you don't get experience for a while, and so we could farm past that, but number one, I don't want to put up with that, and number two, well, basically I don't want to have less hit points. Alright, so I'm luring Robin back because I didn't feel like getting pizzoned, basically, by mighted goblins getting thrown at me. We get a free helmet, which we're going to trade for a hat. That gives us one more AC and one more base AC, which means if I decide to train some armor, that's better. Again, no restrictions on my items or my skills, so, you know, all in all, I will say this is probably a less restrictive challenge outside of the weapon problem. Ring of Strength. Do we have Remove Curse? We don't, so we will not wear the Twisted Ring. Could be Telly. Magic Dart is strong. Has problems against high AC enemies, but... Alright, there's a Faded Altar. I'm willing to take this if Twitch chat wants me to. I guess I'll do a poll. It's definitely not optimal, because we could get Trog or something, but nevertheless, I think it'll be fun if I at least give you guys the option. What is the best background for a deep elf, you ask? Well, it's kind of funny because if you're like a top-level player, if you truly understand the game, I believe that Artificer is the best background for every species, because Artificer gives you the power to survive the sort of random nonsense that can happen in the early game. You know, because you get this really powerful stack of things that, while limited, is enough to make you survive. A Deep Elf will have more problems with that than other races because, well, he's stuck meleeing things and he doesn't want to be, but nevertheless, I still think it's the best. Now, if you're not sort of tediously playing as optimally as possible, I mean, it's going to be a book start. Hard to say which one. Maybe Earth Elementalist, because you can really hone in on Earth and go straight for LRD, and LRD is so good that, if you really want to, you can win the game with it. Faded Altar, yes, no, there's a 50% yes and 50% no. Man, not enough people voted. I guess I'll, unless there's gonna be like a bit bribe, I think I'm gonna have to pass up on this, since the poll was even. Alright. Why don't we go up and take down Sigmund? Could have been interesting. Kind of would be funny if it ended up being Lugonu. F-Cloud. I'm gonna just melee this dude. Something I, again, probably wouldn't do if I was streaking. I probably would have gone down and come up a different staircase just for safety, even though he was meffed. I'd say Wizard is a really strong background in general for casters, by the way, Janice. I mean, I picked it because, well, the Crawl Cosplay Challenge this week only let me pick from a few different starts. And Wizard gives me Conjure Flame, which for the time being is one of the best beginner spells in the game. Just get him with the dagger once he's confused. There we go. Alright, he has a +1 cloak today. We don't want to let him hit us. So we're just gonna put on some flame here and start whacking him. Math Cloud. He'll die. There we go. You notice I didn't swing, I didn't cast a spell or anything. Because I didn't want to risk getting tagged by that quarterstaff of chaos, which is just no good. Since really horrible things can happen. Could have gotten Abyssed even, which while we'd eventually like to do that, we don't want to do it yet. Any armor that I've missed? No? Okay, well there's Rue. We can open up with Rue. There's nothing stopping me from simply swapping off with him. He doesn't have a Wrath. Hey, check it out. It's our formerly a Centaur wolf. What's the latest thing I feel I've learned about this game? I have no idea. That's an interesting question. Probably the fact that you can change tiles with our C file settings, and you can change them to pretty much anything in the game if you get the right command. By the way, if there were any mobile users who had the poll not show up on Twitch, then feel free to tell me your vote, and I can add it there, and we can possibly take the Fated Altar if you guys want me to. What am I training? Just evokes to 5? It's time to take fighting to 5, get a little more hit points, take spellcasting to 10. Conjure Flame, really good. They're kind of ruining it, but in the next version. Uh-oh. I should not have fought that without being on a staircase. That was dangerous. Wow. Okay, that's the dagger Morgue. I think I gotta go over these rules again, because I would like to probably be wearing that for a long time. There's a distortion weapon, by the way, so there's our ticket to the Abyss, and there's the weapon that we can be using. So the rule is you attack only with distortion-branded melee weapons. You're still allowed to wield staves and other weapons if you don't attack with them. That's after I go into a rune branch. So technically I could have Morgon if I wanted to and just enjoy the Int +5 and the MR+, as long as I never attack with it, which would be painful as hell. Interesting, interesting. Well, I'll keep that in mind. We can't afford either right now. You mean a game mechanic or a use of some item or spell, something you feel you haven't used before? Nothing's really coming to mind. I'm sure there's something, but I don't know. Let's use this 2-stack. It's enchant armor. I guess I'll just enchant the cloak rather than waste it. I'll go ahead and enchant up this venom dagger. But yeah, I mean, it probably sounds pompous, but I feel like I know almost everything there is to know about this game, Tidbits, to be honest with you. I don't think there's really much more for me to discover unless they were to change something. Which I guess... I mean, I guess it kind of sounds like I have a big head, but really it's just kind of a fact. I'm gonna mark all this stuff for, well, I should go ahead and buy it. Yeah. Probably should have bought the telly. Didn't realize I only had one. Nice. Meth Cloud is just outrageous. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of depth of knowledge to DCSS, but I mean, you can master it pretty quickly if you just win enough times, you know. It's a big fat shop floor, man. A lot of shops on this floor. Let's buy the remove curse. And let's buy the magic mapping in case we get shafted. Now we know that we have a remove curse, so we'll wear this ring. It's a ring of stealth. Not really something I care too much about, but it's better than nothing in the slot, I suppose. I could buy some identify, and maybe I should, but I don't think I'm going to bother. Well, maybe. I guess I'll buy one. I'll buy two of them. Having more consumables available is good. Haven't you done everything in this game? Yeah, I mean, it depends what you mean by everything. There are some challenges that I haven't done, I suppose. But, in general, yeah. Hey, there's a buckler. That would be good to have. I mean, I've won every race, I've won every combo. I've taken my team to first place in 2 tournaments, although one of those tournaments I wasn't the captain. I haven't single-handedly won a tournament before, but I've also never tried because it's just... I really don't like the way that the single-player part of the tournament works, so it's just not that interesting to me. I'm certain that if I put the effort in, I could do it, but, you know. That is a Trog altar, and abandoning Trog is just a pain, so we're not going to go Trog. Identify inky potions. Wow. Strength plus 7, slay minus 6. That's... that's garbage. We won't be doing that. There's a Synth ring, that's useful. Magic regen is actually quite handy for this guy since we have to end up worshipping Lugonu, who doesn't do anything for our mana, and we'll just put the RC Plus on our shopping list as well. Not that we're necessarily going to buy it, but just so we know it's there in case we never find RC. It's very strange. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was going to say we walked away from this dude and he didn't follow us. My stealth's not that good. Pull this dude up through the hatch. Alright, so that was an Usk altar. Usk is a really fun god, one of my favorites actually. But his wrath can paralyze you, so it's pretty damn dangerous to go for that. But yeah, I'm basically willing to go for any of these gods right now. If you guys want to see them, really anything that we found. Alternately, we could just... Well, here's what's interesting, is we could stick with Rue, but the problem with that is we'd be sacrificing things, and we're never going to get those things back. So, probably shouldn't do that. I think we're going to swap off of him. And I think we're going to pick... a god based on... like what is easily abandonable, and what helps us out with Lugonu later. So maybe we want to train some invocations. So maybe like Fedhas, that might be fun. Or, well, Okawaru would be really straightforward, although we're a caster, so it feels a little bit silly. Che. You want me to go Che and then abandon Che? That sounds incredibly incredibly miserable. Oh, hey, how you doing, Viser? Oh, you had fun watching the Hill Orc? Very cool. Glad you enjoyed that. Well, the conducts are many. I'll try to go through them really quickly, although you can find them on crawlcosplay.com. We've got to worship Lugonu before entering depths, but until then, we can worship whatever god or gods that we want. We have to only attack with distortion melee weapons or unarmed or tomahawks dispersal or nets once we've entered a rune branch. We're going to try to avoid that, I think, by simply punching things with transforms. At some point we have to get Malign Gateway castable, that's easy enough. We're not allowed to get the Abyssal Rune. We have to send a unique Panlord or a Lord of Hell to the Abyss. And we have to corrupt every single floor of the dungeon, depths, and Sot. So we've got our work cut out for us. Should be fun. No, I'll do a poll. I'll tell you what, since we have a couple more people in the chat now, we found a Faded Altar earlier, so I'm gonna put which god in this poll. We're gonna put Faded Altar, Chabriatos. I'll do the fun ones. Gozag's the power play. I don't know, Kiku, if we want to be like a Necromancer guy, that'd be pretty straightforward. And I'll put Fedhas here too, I suppose. Allow voting with bits. What's this? Does this mean that if you give bits, then it... I'm just gonna put this... Let me know if you guys... This will be interesting. Let me know if this still lets you guys use the poll even without putting bits in. So there should be a poll running right now. And I think the way this works is you can vote without bits, but then if somebody gives bits, their votes count more. Twitch trying to create an oligarchy with that? Maybe. You can vote? Alright, cool. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright. So I'm going to start enabling that from now on so I can... so it can be like a real American election. The person with the most money wins. Where's the vote? It should be above the chat right now. Should say which god. It should be where the leaderboard usually is for bits and whatnot, at the top right of the screen. If you're on mobile, I think that it might be broken for mobile. I've noticed that some people were saying that. Doesn't work on mobile. You know, you would think that they would fix that, you know? You would think that would be a priority, because a lot of people watch Twitch on their phones. Wow, everybody voted for Fedhas. Alright, I guess we're going Fedhas today. Now, of course, we're going to have to abandon Fedhas later. Let's go ahead and take invocations to 5, I guess. Should be interesting wrath to deal with later. Acolyte plants on my head and whatnot, unless they made it even worse, or perhaps they made it easier. I doubt they touched the wrath. What did you vote for, Tids? You voted for Che, didn't you? Well, this is Neo Fedhas. Oh, there's Sifmuna. It's a little bit of a shame. Would have been nice to go for that. Interesting. See, this is where Magic Dart fails. He's got a chainmail on. So... doesn't really do much to him. We had to use the Poison Dagger and Confuse. Let's go up. Let's get our 20 mana back, which is an enormous amount of mana to have at this point in the game. Oh, you voted for Kiku? You know, Kiku is a really, really solid choice. And even if you don't like Necromancy, I mean... the reality is, I think Kiku for any species that is any good at casting at all, and even maybe if they're not, Kiku really is a very straightforward path to victory. 20 mana is half of what the Hill Orc had at level 27. Well, I am the best caster species in the game, so like I should be good. I should be good at what I do. since the character's not good at anything else. Okay, magic darting. Conjure Flame. Kind of have a very straightforward path through the early and mid game when you're a wizard because of Conjure Flame, Meth Cloud, and Magic Dart. Okay, we're gonna see how I'm sort of sneaking around like this. Boom! Ended up in melee with him. Didn't even have to roll the dice on Meth Cloud. That's a short bow of freezing. You know, if I could get like a Disto branded bow, we might actually go bows at this point, because Deep Elves, believe it or not, have a bow aptitude that's not too shabby at +1. I mean, that's pretty good. I also have 111 arrows. I could drop the hunting sling and stones. Yeah, no, you can't have ranged Disto weapons. And we have to eventually we have to have a Disto weapon around. If not, use it. Assuming that we don't sort of cheese our way around that conduct. I'm unsure why they left the loophole in to where I can use transmutations, but I'm not complaining. Hey Asimov, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a good night tonight, or I guess it might be daytime over in your part of the planet. Let's drop this degen. Let's try on this ring. It's a cursed ring of attention, so we'll simply remove curse, take that off, and we're stealth again. Oops. Alright, did we miss anything on this floor? We're missing gloves, an amulet, and a shield. We have the money to go ahead and buy the buckler. Why do you not put magic dart on a hotkey? Force of habit, basically. Don't you enjoy the asthma from my mechanical keyboard? Hearing me press ZA and enter? I feel like the more wacky hotkeys I use to combine a bunch of actions, the more likely I am to make a really bad mistake. So frankly, the only hotkey that I use is I have spacebar hotkeyed to 5 for resting, so I can kind of slam my thumb down on the keyboard when I wanna rest. And I changed that to AF on Deep Dwarves to self-heal. Yeah, I know what you meant. Oh, hello. This thing can actually own the hell out of me, so we put up the flames, and because he's a zombie, he goes right into it. Sarah's asking me, what named monster do you like best, or gives you the most difficulty fighting? Named monster. I guess you mean uniques. Interesting. I would say, I guess that's kind of two different questions. So, the one that I have the most trouble fighting, probably the one that I want to see the least at the points in the game where she shows up would have to be a Rulcha, I think. On account of the fact that if you look at a Rulcha, she's essentially a hard gear check in some cases, because 2 of her possible books have a debuff that just straight up owns you. You know, you get paralyzed in the early game, or even like right before Lair, which is often where she shows up, and then she just spams Fireball on you and you're dead. Or even worse, she banishes your ass, and even if she doesn't banish your ass with this book, she might lightning bolt you and double zap you for like 4 billion damage. And then even if she lacks that, you know, let's say she lacks a good debuff or a good MR threat, she's got book 3, she's still got, you know, heavy damage Bolt of Cold, huge damage Crystal Spear, and she can haste herself to do stuff even more often. So if you were to auto-explore right next to her, you're taking way more damage than you're necessarily expecting. And not only that, she often starts with a really big giant club, like really high enchant giant spike club. So, you know, basically, there's no turns where she's... It's very rare for her to have a turn where she's not making your life miserable. Okay, F Cloud. I wish I could regen or something. Okay, buddy. Alright. This is dangerous as hell, what we're doing here. So I think I'm gonna meth myself, and that's okay, because we have curing identified. Oh, wait, do we? Oh, whoops. Big fault. Alright, that's okay. We're gonna Ambrosia, because Ambrosia essentially lets you overheal everything in the early game. Alright, you guys ready for the most whack play of all time? We're gonna eat a ration real quick. We're gonna berserk. While confused. I think blokes would love this. We're kind of swinging. This is the dumbest play I've ever made. Still confused. We can always blink out of this if we have a problem. Yeah, this is not actually a good strategy. Don't do this. I need the confused to end. I'm gonna have to burn a heal wounds. Finally, it ended. Oops. Yeah, I don't think that was optimal. The optimal, I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, the optimal thing to do would have been to simply, as soon as I realized there was so much crap behind that centaur, I should have blinked backwards. And also, as soon as I saw the centaur, what I probably should have done is, like, backed off maybe to here and started shouting. There were a lot of little petty little misplays that happened there, which added up to be quite bad, simply because of what happened to be behind that guy. But that's, you know, that's crawl, is the thing. Minor mistakes snowball into huge mistakes, and if you don't know how to handle it, then you're very quickly gonna have a big problem, you know. And a lot of being good at the game kind of revolves around recognizing when you're stumbling into a do something smart or die kind of situation. Only 3 consumables used. That's a lot of consumables. Although I'm not sad about wasting the Berserk Rage. It's a very wonky set of events, I have to admit. Alright, we dart that guy like a million times and he finally dies. Bro. Buckler of Reflection. We'll take that to 4. Shields to 4. Cool. I love that wombo combo of Conjure Flame and Meth Cloud to force things to go in when they otherwise wouldn't. Like so. Oh, uh-oh. Yep, Prince Ribbit has some balls. He does not care. So we need to make sure... Okay. The priest is confused and in the fire. Let's meth this dude as well. This is almost like we got marked, but we didn't get marked. What's the next character at the streak? I haven't been streaking for a long time. I have 51 wins, which is the most technically matched with Man, my buddy who played the tournament with me. And I was planning on just taking a break from the streak for a while. I mean, I guess if people really wanted to see me streak another game, I could. I mean, I could... What I'm thinking about doing is... because I am kind of loath to touch my streak until someone meaningfully challenges it. Someone who's not Man, because we kind of have a truce going. I think until then I'm probably not gonna play any games. Whoops. Big whoops. Okay, there we go. Played it close to the wire there. But yeah, I mean, if I had like a... Maybe I could set up like a donation meter, and once we get to a certain point, I'll do another streak game. Because it's actually a very stressful way to play DCSS. And it's kind of nice being able to do some suboptimal things just for fun. Not that I mind doing it. I do. I mean, in some ways it's enjoyable, but it's just sometimes it's nice to take a break from the same style of thing that you've been doing for a while. But as far as your question of what's the next character, I mean, I don't know. If you look at the streak, the first 30 or so of them, 33, or maybe 43, are the games that Elliptic did. He used to have the world record streak, and then I blasted through that. And then after that, the way I determined what I would play... Oh, wow. It's a +7 Morningstar of Pain. I'm not going to bother with that. It does have Synth, though, so we'll keep it in the old inventory to swap. But yeah, the way I determined it after the Elliptic streak was done was basically I just kind of... Well, I played a Null Conjurer to start with because that was kind of a revenge against that combo for ending my first long streak. And then after that, I just kind of... I wanted to make sure that every race and class was represented, and that ended with Mumo. And then I wanted to get parity with Man, who had gotten to 51 wins during the tournament that we played on the same team as. And so I picked Naga Artificer basically because it was like an easy background with a hard race. And so at this point I guess I would for the most part just want to sort of preserve the aesthetics of the streak, if that makes sense. Because you'll notice it looks very cool. You know, there's not any duplicates. There's no combos that have been duplicated, and of course there's backgrounds and classes or backgrounds and species that have been duplicated. You can't avoid that after a certain number of wins, like 24 wins. But you know, every single game it looks very different. It's very clearly not, you know, a bunch of Minotaurs in a row or something. So basically, I would want to preserve that, and maybe, I mean, that's the other thing is, I could, if I did a donation meter for streak games, I could give the Twitch people, the Twitch community, some sort of choices about what to play next in the context of the streak, and that could be interesting. I'll probably only play in 0.23 because 0.24 they added just an enormous amount of really obnoxious RNG mechanics to the early game, which I don't want to deal with because it's just, you can sort of randomly die regardless of anything. And I don't think that's fun or particularly conducive to streaking. So we found a book a minute ago. Have some very nice spells now. In fact, we found the perfect book. We must have found Book of Transfigurations, because we have Irradiate, we have Stat Form. This is exactly what I wanted. That's the path. All right, that's the path. So, open up with Irradiate. All right. We're gonna take transmutations to like 15. This is in fact going to be a Stat Form guy. Ordinarily, I think I would not go that route because you guys have seen me do it so many times, but because of the nature of this challenge and the fact that it's trying to force me to use unarmed or a distortion weapon, we kind of have to go for the unarmed. It's just the fact of life. So we'll memorize Stat Form, even though we can't cast it yet. And of course, we're gonna get Lightning Spire because that's just really good. Summons goes to 5. Air goes to 5. Think Modern Crawl's better for streaking, or would there be a better version? Well, it depends. I think that Modern Crawl... I've heard people like Minmay say that the game is easier now, and I don't agree with that. I think the game is a little less RNG now. I would say that it is mentally more taxing, more challenging to deal with floors. The biggest change... Here's the change I'm talking about. The biggest change is they made it so instead of monsters sort of spawning randomly, even after a floor has been visited, all the monsters that the floor is going to have are spawned immediately. So there's a huge density of monsters. And this is one of those changes that I actually liked a lot. Because there's nothing lamer than going upstairs and, surprise, there's a two-headed ogre that happened to have spawned and now you're dead. Just very, very unfair, very, very stupid, very RNG. Whereas if there's a bunch of monsters right there waiting for you when you come down somewhere on the floor, like, yes, that can be painful, it can be miserable even, but you generally, if you're playing properly, you get to see that stuff coming and you get to deal with it accordingly. So some people say that made the game easier, and I think that those people, unfortunately, don't understand the difference between difficulty and random deaths. You know, because I do think that before that change happened, there was a certain amount of simply unavoidable deaths that happened that was way higher than it is now. And this is a problem that unfortunately, this is a problem that you see all the time in roguelikes or in game design in general, where the developers have this idea, and yeah, people like randomness to some degree, but they have this idea that randomness is a substitute for difficulty, and I'm sorry, it's just not. Like, it's just not, it's not the case. Amulet of Faith? Well, hot dog. I guess I'll wear that for the time being. To be honest, I'm going to wear the Ring of Dexterity. Yeah, limiting the RNG surprises is better for survival, but only if you're playing optimally. I think if you're not playing optimally, you're actually more likely to die in a modern version of Crawl. I found this acquirement. I should probably use it. I got so excited about all those books that I didn't even think. Also, I want to get Ignite Poison. Yeah. That's going to be good. I can make fire meth clouds now. I think, yeah, we have all the spells we're ever going to need for the rest of the game, so let's just acquire armor, I think. Yeah. Okay, well that's kind of miserable because it's strength -4, but I think I'm going to have to take it because otherwise it's incredible. I'm just going to live with the low strength, I suppose. Okay, so Visera's asking me a couple questions. And no, I don't mind explaining things more than once. Feel free to ask whatever questions you've got. I know you likely have explained it a bunch, but you say what some of the spells do. Well, do you want me to explain my spell choice and why I'm picking them on this character? Because I can do that. Okay, good. He was confused and... Oh no. Get back in the fire, bro. Okay. So yeah, we can turn these poison clouds into fire clouds now. It's actually very strong. Very mana and action heavy, but very strong. Alright, so why did I pick these spells? So Lightning Spire is just outrageously strong because unlike most summons, when I go to cast it, I can put this thing wherever I want. You know, within the maximum range, which is only this little, well, let me get out in the open. This kind of shape. But the thing is, what that means is, let's say there's like a two-headed ogre here. Boom! I can put a spire right there, and I know he's going to show up right there. He's not going to appear over here. He's not going to do some wacky thing where he appears behind him. I can put him exactly where I want him to. He also casts Lightning Bolt, or a Lightning Bolt-like spell called Electrical Bolt, which zaps right through a hallway through of dudes a million times and just does unseemly amounts of damage. So this is just an absolutely overpowered summon spell. It's only level 4, it's really good. Irradiate, likewise, is overpowered. It does a crazy amount of damage in a sort of area like this, all around me. So I do have to be in melee with dudes, but, you know, once you get it castable, it kills almost anything in the game in 1 to 4 casts. Very, very, very strong. Now, there's a downside to it where it contaminates you, but you're not going to cast... I mean, if you're playing correctly, you're not going to cast it enough times in a row for that to matter. I picked up Ignite Poison. You kind of saw already why I picked that up, so I can turn Meth Clouds into fire, which is really strong. And I picked up Stat Form, to answer your second question at the same time, I picked up Stat Form over Dragon Form because Stat Form gives you way more defenses. It gives you guaranteed damage reduction based at the same base as if you were wearing Plate Mail. It gives you an enormous amount of AC. It doesn't really mess with your EV that much. and it gives you a bunch of resistances as well. On the other hand, Dragon Form, while it makes you hit for more damage than Statue Form does, Statue Form already makes you hit for pretty damn good damage. Dragon Form is like overkill. You can one-shot an Orb of Fire if you want to, and that's a good use for it, but your defenses are just not up to snuff. Your evasion gets absolutely wrecked. Your AC is probably lower than it was before, or not nearly as much as Statue Form. I mean, you get some AC, but not much. I don't think you get any GDR unless you're a Draconian, which they have special rules for that spell. I mean, you get RF++, which can be a pretty good thing if you're trying to kill Orbs of Fire and you just haven't found it yet. I mean, the only thing I really use Dragon Form for is if I need to kill something right now, you know. Hey Janice, thanks for coming by the stream. Don't forget to follow if you haven't yet. Then you can catch the stream when it's live and see some more content like this. Or if you're feeling super generous, you could always sub. Always appreciate it. What's Meth Cloud? And completely failed to Meth Cloud. Alright. Let's get the Ignite Poison. Hey, no problem, Versaire. If you have any kind of questions, I'm always open to answering them. Are you serious? Meth Cloud just doesn't look at that. It just wants to explode and not give me the positioning that I want. That's fine though. It's not like Fireball. It's not guaranteed to hit all the slots. Watch on YouTube if you miss the stream. Yeah, these will always eventually end up on YouTube, so have no fear. Man, that Ignite Poison Meth Cloud combo is so fun, and I don't get to use it very often, so it's a lot of fun, I have to say. Okay, this guy can do a lot of damage to me, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to... So, I can't Meth Cloud him, he's immune. What I can do is set up the flame, put him in it, and he'll, like, travel right down. Hey, thanks for the follow, N11. And he's not resistant to fire, so he should be taking more damage than he's taking, to be honest. And even though he's resistant to electricity, you know what I should do? Is I should put a spire right here, and that blocks. And here's a great use of the spire. Do you see that stone arrow that he just tried to kick my ass with? You know, if I look at the gargoyle monster, check out how much damage a basic little stone arrow can do in the hands of an HD6 monster. 12, 24, 36. That's over half my hit points. So this thing has crap EV, so it functions to basically block these really, really ugly attacks that I just don't want to have to suffer. So now he's getting damaged by the flame that he's in, he's getting damaged a little bit by the lightning spire, even though he's resistant to electricity, and he just kind of has to sit there until he's dead. It's good. Well, Versaire, I've been trying to stream at more regular hours lately, and I think at least for the last few days I've been doing a better job of that. 6 p.m. EST every day. I'm one of those people that's just not very good at following a regular schedule. It's kind of always been my weak point, but... Oh, damn, he didn't get confused. And I shouldn't be doing that, because I don't have curing potions, come to think of it. Nor do I have resist poison. Let's see if I can't Meth Cloud like so. There we go. Set this stuff on fire, make a spire. Much better. Perfect. Not bad at all. Wonder why Spire hasn't been nerfed yet? We all do, man. We all wonder that. The dev's idea of balance is just very... It's very funny. I mean, Tids, did you see the incredibly smug post that GammaFunk made about the sort of quasi-nerf to BBC, where he spent 16 paragraphs opining about how everyone who disagrees with him about the balance is dumb, basically. Because, I mean, if you read that, that should give you some insight into why Lightning Spire has been left the way it is for so long. Because they don't want to hear it, basically, if somebody tells them that something is over or underpowered. They have no interest in listening to any member of the player base over that. Okay, there's a disto weapon. So we can get that really, really quickly. That's cool. And, actually there's 2 disto weapons here. And an electric dagger, wow. We won't use that because that's strength -5, but still. Once we go into a rune branch, we're not allowed to attack with anything that's not disto, so... yeah, we may end up in this whip, with this whip of distortion, although I was planning on simply branding the venom dagger that I'm currently using with disto for attack speed. This opens up certain things to me, I suppose. This entire existence is about value. Yeah, but the value is too good, man. It's just really, really, really good, I have to say. Probably too good. I wonder if I should leave these dudes alive to send me to the Abyss with their attacks. I think we're going to do that. Because there's nothing in this vault that I want. And later I'm going to want to go to the Abyss because I have to worship Lugonu before going into Depths. So that's going to be the way forward, I think. Also, I'm glad I found Faith. This means I'll be able to corrupt all those floors that I have to corrupt a lot easier. Gamma has blocked you. Is there anyone that Gamma has not blocked? Hey, I'm going to develop this open source game and I'm going to block half the community. Genius. Alright, let's magic map. I wanna get to this Bailey. Okay, let's see. Good. Really, really wanted to get the Confuse on Mr. Manticore here, because boy can they do a lot of damage. This is the Bailey. Just gonna dart a little bit after making these firewalls. This is all pretty weak stuff. Oh, Dagger of Venom. Not that we're too worried about that. It's a Dagger of Draining as well, but I think I'm going to stick with my Venom. We will trade... well, it's a strict upgrade, but... or it's not an upgrade at all, rather. Like, technically it's a strict upgrade, the +0 robe for the +0 robe of Cold Resist, but we already have RC+++, so... it doesn't do anything for me, nevertheless I know it's not cursed, so I might as well swap. Later we're going to want Arc Magi if possible. Okay, terrific. Oh my god. Did anybody die from being confused? Good. So this is a ton of damage possible. And we don't have digging. Actually, we do have digging. What am I doing? Let's paralyze this guy. Oh boy. We're gonna use Fear. Wow, holy shit! He actually resisted. GG. Damn, dude, I was not expecting to lose this game. That's what I get, though. If I was streaking, we would have, just for the record, if I had been streaking, my strategy instead would have been to leave this Bailey. I knew it was pretty risky to be here, to be honest. Damn. That is surprising, though. He failed... we failed a para at 60-some% success rate, and then we failed a Fear, which is actually really shocking. That had to have been above 80, maybe even 90% chance of success, and he just He just went right through it. Very interesting, man. Oh, cool. They kept this message, which no longer makes sense, since you no longer get piety from from Fedhas. Alright, we're allowed to try again. I'm just gonna do this way more straightforward this time. We're just gonna play an Abyssal Knight. Flame? No, we didn't want to use flame because the fog clouds were already in the way. Well, no, that's a great example of how you shouldn't, well, you kind of have to have some kind of encyclopedic knowledge of the game, but if you know that the particular portal vault is going to be able to throw such big damage at you at range, then you probably shouldn't go in, or you should leave immediately. Like, as soon as I saw that it was the one that placed ranged things, I should have bailed. Or I suppose I could have dug immediately and went sort of further back in my kill hole and had a little more time to do certain things. Anyway, -3 apt on the spear. Well, we're just gonna go unarmed right from the start and see how this treats us. We lose out on our enchanted weapon, but this start kind of sucks anyway. If I was playing optimally, we probably would go spear even with the bad aptitude. That or short sword, just so we're attacking faster with aptitude. Both are the same accuracy, if I recall correctly. Optimal thing to do is to depart Abyss immediately on one of these guys. Well, it depends on if I'm playing if I'm trying to play super fast or I'm trying to streak tidbits. I do play differently based on what I'm doing. Alright, so this is going to be a little more straightforward. We just punch a bit. I also hadn't trained. I'd gone for what we affectionately call Dynast defenses, which is to say I hadn't trained defenses at all. This can do 8 damage to me, so we have to watch closely. Okay, back off a bit. Okay, he got random energy on me. Just have to get our hit points back. Playing a melee deep elf right off the bat is not the best, but ultimately is going to be more straightforward, I think, than what we were doing. We're going to door dance here by closing the door repeatedly, which made Lugonu lose a little piety for me because I spent so much time, but that's okay. And we get bad RNG again. Probably shouldn't have started with unarmed combat, but this'll get less crappy really quickly. Again, we'll door dance until our hit points are back. Are you serious? Does he have body armor? He doesn't. Such a great game mechanic. What are you... Oh, whoops. What are you referring to? The fact that you can door dance? Or the fact that I'm sort of running his ass around? This is just something you have to do on weak starts. Probably should have actually started with a half-decent weapon, but this is a little more straightforward. If we don't get RNG down at the very beginning of the game anyway. Our base damage should be, I think, 4, which is obviously really, really bad, but it's going to go up. It's going to go up quickly. Oh my god. Maybe we can just juke him. What's my starting stealth? 0 on an Abyssal Knight. But yeah, the upside is that doing this, starting out with Lugonu, we don't have to go hunt for an Abyssal entrance. We don't have to, or not for an entrance, but for a a route to the abyss, whether it's miscasting on purpose, or getting distoed down, or wearing a disto ourselves if we happen to find one, you know. I'm gonna try this again. There we go. See, there's your crawl damage formulas, man. Or accuracy formulas. Sometimes it just doesn't do anything for you. Good old D1 Jackal Pack forcing me to simply fight this stuff or lose. There we go. This is kind of a challenge run in and of itself, starting with unarmed combat. Something you really don't want to do, something that's not optimal on almost any, or probably any start whatsoever, but especially not this one. But it kind of goes to show that with enough care and a little bit of luck avoiding early game RNG nonsense, you can win almost any game of Crawl. And I would say that that's one of the best things about the design of this game. Okay. We're a little stronger now. We can kind of sort of tab things better. Aptitudes matter a lot, by the way. We're currently playing against our aptitudes, and so that works out poorly more often than it works out well. Let's go down. What's this? Could this be a Gozag altar, perhaps? Or is it just a wacky floor that has absolutely nothing to do with anything? Hey, love, how you doing? You actually just missed me splatting a character because I was playing too fast and reckless. The conducts are we have to worship Lugonu before entering depths. We're allowed to play as an Abyssal Knight, a Wizard, a Summoner, and I think maybe a Conjurer. This time I've just gone for Abyssal Knight to kind of make things a little more simple and straightforward. One of the big things is we've got to use a disto weapon once we enter a Lair branch, or rather a rune branch. So I decided to just kind of bypass all the nonsense by going unarmed combat because it said that you're actually allowed to use unarmed combat instead. So we had a very excellent character going, and I just kind of splatted it from playing too fast. Okay, see, this is where this breaks down. We may not be able to beat this thing. Oh yeah, we can't beat this thing. Oh, no way. Alright, I'm gonna have to die. That's fine. Let's do this again with a decent weapon. I tried to cheese it so I could just sort of rush through the early game this time, but it's not gonna happen. We'll go short blade. This time we'll just train fighting. And we should be able to basically tab. Unless this happens, goddamn. Imagine finding this on a street game as your D1. I mean, it didn't kill me, but it certainly could have. Is there a reason not to worship Lugonu all the way? Absolutely. Because then you have to play as an Abyssal Knight, which is incredibly subpar. I mean, I think I would rather... And also, you don't... Especially for a deep elf is the thing. If this was any other species, I would say that it would be basically fine to play as an Abyssal Knight. But, Deep Elf really wants magic. We're essentially the most gimped human you've ever heard of, is the problem. Okay, there's ringmail for us. That's an upgrade. What is a cosplay challenge? Essentially, you play a certain type of character Usually you're restricted to a certain class, a certain background, or a certain set of classes, certain gods. It's a series of conducts, essentially, that make you're attempting to sort of emulate one of the characters or one of the enemies in the game, hence you're cosplaying as that enemy. No, love. You're only allowed to attack with distortion or unarmed or tomahawks of dispersal and nets once you've entered a Lair branch. I left out some of the conducts when I was explaining it. You have to have the spell Malign Gateway castable by the time you win the game. You're not allowed to get the Abyssal Rune. You have to send a unique Panlord or a Lord of Hell into the Abyss at some point, which probably necessitates trying to melee them with Disto for a very long time, since they're immune to Lugonu's Banish ability, as well as many other spells, or pretty much every spell. And then you have to corrupt every single floor of Dungeon Depths and Zot, which is essentially just a lot of piety. Man, really sucks that we lost that first game. I have to wonder what the chance of that happening was, to be honest. The fact that he resisted Para and Fear, it's gotta be a really low chance. How do you get Piety if monsters eventually run out? You can get Piety in Pan if you want to. Okay, attack, attack, attack. If he swings at me, we swing again, killing the worm in the optimal way that denies him as many attacks as possible. There we go. Well, not Abyss. You cannot get Lugonu Piety if you're in the Abyss, which is a big shame. Otherwise, this challenge would be a little bit less tedious. This dude has a sling. Let's pull him up. Or pull up his buddy, rather. I got poisoned by that adder, so we're going to need to get a little bit of hit points back. I've been training nothing but fighting, which is a little odd, but whatever. It's something I usually do when I'm streaking anyway, for a little while. Would have trained some stealth, I suppose. Oh, hello. Hello. This is not a long-term option because you can't make ranged weapons into Disto. But damn, this is a good find. Just use it with no skill. You know, you should have bailed out. It's called Bailey for a reason. Ha ha ha. Well, I probably shouldn't have even gone in, is the thing. But even if I did go in, I knew for a fact I should have left immediately. That's just my bad. You know, on account of being a deep elf, like I knew my defenses weren't good enough. I knew that my hit points were not good enough. But it was a confluence of really surprisingly bad RNG in a lot of different ways. Like, we could have blocked that arrow, we could have blocked the swing from the halberd, we had a over 60-some% chance of paralyzing him with the wand, and then I could do the math, but I think we had an over 80% chance of getting the fear. So basically it was a lot of very bad RNG that happened. But that's not an excuse, you know, because I mean that never would have killed me if I was playing a streak game, you know. I simply would have rejected it and, you know, not put myself in that situation. And that's part of Krull as well. If you want to learn to play optimally and if you never want to lose, part of that is understanding when your character simply cannot handle a situation safely. Because, like, my character could handle that situation, certainly, and even, you know, probably 90% of the time I would have been fine in that situation, probably higher than that even. But if you ever open yourself up, for a 1% chance of losing, then that's when you're gonna have a problem. No, it's not the streak. If you look at the top right, if you see Malcolm Rose tourney, that means I'm not streaking. If you see Malcolm Rose by itself, that means I'm on my streak account. No, Baileys can be awesome to go into if you do them right. There's a lot of really good loot in there. Okay, I got slowed. Don't want to deal with that. Is there any weapons with brands other than this sling? No. There's a quarterstaff available. We could go in that direction. To be honest, what I could do is it's not really my first choice, but we could go and do this the intended way and actually use a disto weapon the whole game. I mean, I was gonna cheese it and avoid that, but the more I think about it, I feel like it might be more fun to do the challenge kind of in the spirit of the challenge rather than trying to avoid. No, I think it's fine from a survival perspective depending on which one you get. That particular Bailey is really, really tough for characters with low defenses. That one and the crossbow Bailey that forces you to get hit at ranged a lot. We could have completely obliterated that Bailey super easily with Meph Cloud, and we were starting to. But that one mighted orc warrior managed to show up through the fog and then resist all of our wonderful hexes. So just didn't work out for me. Let's go strength. But yeah, this is going to be a much more straightforward game because now we're worshipping Lugonu right off the bat. I suppose I'll take invocations to 5 or so. Hey, Rogue Shenanigans, how you doing, man? Oh man, I've got to make like a command that lists out the context so I don't have to repeat it so many times, because I think I've already said it like 5 times. I'm not complaining. I'm just, there's got to be a better way for me to handle this. You could just go to crawlcosplay.com. Like here, I assume. Wow, that did not. Would help if I actually put the dot in there. Do your work, you're lazy. Alright. Well, I gotta play a deep elf of Lugonu, and I gotta do a bunch of wacky things. Like not die to these kobolds, that's definitely part of the conduct. Once we go into, I'll tell you the big ones. Once we go into a rune branch, we're not allowed to be attacking with any weapon that's not disto. We have to send a named Hell Lord or Pan Lord into the Abyss. Not allowed to get the Abyssal Rune. We have to corrupt every single floor of Depth's dungeon. And Zot. Say all the conducts in the rhythm of the old McDonald's. Patty, tomato, beef, cheese, and a sesame seed bun. Whatever meter. I don't remember that though. And I think that's definitely something I think I'd need to get some bits. I'm going to degrade myself. You're going to have to give me the money. I'm afraid. A lot of big kobolds in here. I'm frankly a little surprised that we're even successfully taking them down without taking a bunch of hits. Our defenses are not exactly amazing on this character just yet, but they will be. We'll be the fighterest deep elf of all time. The tankiest deep elf you've ever seen. We're gonna do it without magic, I think. In fact, I should probably put on some scale mail or something. Do you random read stacks of spells? Do you mean scrolls? Do I do them? Yeah, I do. Practice Pad, are you perhaps new to this channel? Sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I have the longest streak of wins. I've won 51 games in a row. Not on this account though. We're doing a special challenge. No. It's fine. I'm just messing with you a little bit. It's just, I don't know. Something that's interesting to me about Crawl is there's this huge disparity where most people who have played the game haven't won the game, and you can spend years playing this game without winning once. And it's not like those people are just bad. It's a really hard game, you know. And there's just a huge depth of knowledge to the game. And once you master all that, it becomes a lot easier. But you can still, you know, dial out. I think very few people ever make it past like 10% win rate, even on an account where they're only trying to play optimally and win. Recently won your first game. Nice, JD Sequoia. I mean, Practice Pad, if you watch my stream regularly, you'll learn a lot, and definitely please feel free to ask any questions if you know, if you don't know why I'm doing something, if I haven't explained it enough. Let's see, chainmail 8AC 5EV, 5AC 11EV. I think we'll stick with the ring mail for now until my strength gets a little higher. But yeah, I mean, Crawl is ultimately just about understanding a lot of situations and playing the game slowly enough. You know, if you need to play slowly, if you can't super quickly identify what you should be doing in a situation. Oh, this is annoying. Bad hatch. Hey, thanks for the follow, Practice Pad. Okay, so this guy's invisible, and we're just going to have a hell of a time actually killing him. Alright, so I've been playing way too fast and not doing my usual optimal play, so why don't we do what we should have done about 2 floors ago and start reading our scrolls, you know? We'll use these on single target or single stack potions. Okay. I haven't found mutation yet, so I'm probably going to avoid quaff IDing anything. I will, however, read ID some of these 2 stacks. Tele, noise, amnesia, alright. So we have remove curse. We could... well, we don't need it yet, but later, if we find something worth identifying, or worth where IDing. Yeah, no, I've won every combo. Well, not every combo, but every race and every background. During the tournament, what you might enjoy is you might want to look on my YouTube. I don't know if the game is up yet, but I played a Felid Chaos Knight during the tournament. Not on my streak account, mind you. I would not do that. What just happened? Did I get teleported? Did I just auto-explore accidentally? I guess I auto-explored. Alright, Wand of Digging. We're not going to train evocations for that because it doesn't do anything. Usually if I find a wand and it's anything remotely usable, you know, first thing, we just start training evocations up to 5 because it's just so good. But, you know, with digging, of course, we're not getting anything out of the evo training, so... Yeah, it was fun. It was difficult, but... the extra lives honestly make it a better CK in a lot of ways than some other species. Believe it or not. Alright, there's the temple. We don't care about the temple. Because we're Lugonu for life, baby! Yeah, honestly, I wish we had just done this from the start. It simplifies things an awful lot by going Abyssal Knight. Let's try this ring on. Ring of Protection +4. Very good. I was going to do something. I was going to look at my skills. We have 5 invokes. We've just been spamming up fighting. I think it's time to take dodging to 10 with a +2 aptitude. We should abuse that. And Let's look at our armor real fast. We have no ox slots, so our base AC is only 5. 4.4 armor skill, so we're gonna take armor to 5 and get 1 AC out of that. Hello. That's our boy. That's our boy Sigmundo. So he has a regular scythe and just a robe. We can send him... We could banish him if we want to. But I think I'm just gonna... Well, I'm gonna go up. Confuse ended. We're just gonna try to... Okay, we got him. So I could have banished him. I saved myself a little piety. I saved myself some experience as well, because that robs you of experience. No, Demigod's miserable, but some people like it. I would enjoy Demon Spawn much more. Why would I need the corrupted temple rogue shenanigans when I could just corrupt the temple myself? Alright, I'm gonna buy this cloak right off the bat. And we're gonna hope it's like MR Plus or something. That'd be pretty good. I suppose I'll go ahead and buy one of these scrolls. And we'll put the helmet and the gloves on the list just in case. Okay, Cloak of Poison Resist. That's a good sign. Alright, we're going to the temple at the request of Rogue Shenanigans, and we did not get the Corrupted Temple. However, we could see almost every single altar and corrupt right here and turn this into sort of a really cool looking Corrupted Temple later on, perhaps. I don't think that corrupting the temple is part of the challenge, but we could do it for fun. Draconians, I'm not a huge fan of Draconians in terms of power, but I do think they're very fun. And I think they're fairly strong. It's just, I don't recommend them for newer players anymore because it's just a little... it's a little awkward because they can't get GDR. You know what? I'm gonna say goodbye to you. Eustatio goes to the abyss. Well, I would get your first win as a Mibby. You know, when I recommend people, what I recommend to newer players trying to learn the game to get their first win, I think you said you hadn't won before, is that right? Get your first win with a Minotaur Berserker. That'll teach you sort of how to survive against the higher higher risk, higher power threats of the game, because there's not a whole lot in the early game that can threaten a Mibby. So that'll give you the confidence of, well, okay, I've won a game now. And then once you do that, I tend to recommend that you probably go for something like a Centaur Hunter, and that'll teach you how to kite. And it's going to be really, really easy for you to kite because the Centaur is much faster than your enemies. So you go for a bow, and then you play that way, and then you win with that. And that's when you should probably start going into maybe some harder things. Maybe try to play like a human hunter or something after that, or like a hill orc hunter, and see if you can kite without having that crutch of having extra move speed. You know, play Okawaru or something so you can have infinite ammo, of course. Anyway, Tropa? This is annoying. Scimitar and Cursed Chainmail. I'm just gonna banish this dude. Save myself the trouble. We can't really kill high defense targets at this point. We haven't trained any weapons, which some might say is a fault, I suppose. Got him. Yeah, javelins are really, really strong. In .24, really outrageous, to be honest. Stupidly powerful. That's not bad, we can kill frogs at least. With nose sling trainings and a +1 hunting sling. Alright, so, as always, I'd like to do what you guys think is more entertaining, so I'm just gonna say right now, disto weapon or unarmed with transmutations. We're going to do a poll. And I'll allow voting with bits if anybody wants to. No magic? No magic is allowed. I started out with no books. Well, technically you're allowed to bypass the conduct by fighting with unarmed. You just have to have a disto weapon in your inventory. You're not allowed to... The actual rule is you're not allowed to attack with any weapon that doesn't have the disto brand. But unarmed combat's not a weapon. And it actually specifically says... you can attack with unarmed. I think it says that. Yeah, you can attack unarmed. So... you can kind of sort of bypass the conduct a bit. Well, I would switch to disto for that particular purpose, but I'm talking about, like, in general for our bread and butter. So that was a very early water moccasin. That was a D5 water moccasin. But we have Banish, which kind of bailed us out of that situation. Rather have low attack delay. Well, the unarmed combat is definitely... Hey, thanks for the bits, JD Sokola. The unarmed combat's definitely the more optimal one, but it appears that the disto weapon has been voted for. So it's kind of weird that doesn't make any alerts come up. I don't think Twitch did a very good job of integrating the polling system with the rest of their existing systems. Unarmed is a bit of cheese to the challenge, for sure, no question. No question. Definitely bypassing the spirit of the challenge. I typically don't like using unarmed because it's... I don't like using disto just because it's sort of tedious. +2 cloak. I'm not going to bother with that because we have our poise on our cloak for the time being. It's not a serious thing. I'm not trying to streak, so I agree entirely that I should do the fun thing. So with that said, we got to decide what weapon we want to use. And that, really is something we should take a look at our aptitudes. Take a look at our aptitudes for. So the best melee weapon aptitude that a Deep Elf has is short blades and staves. And throwing, but that's not allowed. That's not melee, I guess. So like, the thing is that with staves we would be robbed of our ability to use a shield. I think that we'll probably just go long blades, to be honest. Because that's only -1 aptitude. We could go disto dagger, but then, it's very, very low base damage. I mean... Nah, tidbits. It was voted out. I gotta use an actual weapon. So we're not going to be using forms today. We're going to be melee style. I'm just trying to think. What do I actually want to do here? And what have we found? Because, once we get to max piety, we know that we can give a weapon +2 and disto. Have we found any good base types at all? We found a quarterstaff. I'd rather be a Lajatang if I was going to do that. And there's no guarantee that we'll actually find a Lajatang to fulfill that. Short blades and delay till we see a reasonable base. Well, I don't think I need to really train anything right now just yet, come to think of it, just because this hunting sling of velocity is fairly likely to carry me. It would be a problem in Lair, except I could just banish anything that truly gives me issues, like spiny frogs and whatnot. Yeah, I think we'll just keep training defenses. And like you say, wait until we find a good base type. I'm comfortable, as much as I don't want to, I am comfortable switching to a weapon that has very bad aptitude, even -3. I don't think that you should do that typically, but it's not the end of the world, it's just really bad. Too late to switch. Well, finishing Orc without any weapon training might be a bit of an ask on this character. What would be cool is if we found Rift Even though my polearm's aptitude is -3, that would be very thematic. The super reach disto polearm. I'd be comfortable training a -3 aptitude for something that cool, I guess. But I'm not even gonna hold my breath hoping to find that. It's very, very unlikely. Hey, look. We can kill ogres in melee. We did that before, but now I feel like it's pretty reliable. Definitely not reliable here. We're gonna banish the wyvern. Am I getting owned? Nope, we got him. Who told you that you need weapon training? Look at me. Whoops. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. No problem. When Kari's here, we can probably range his ass down. Let's do the smart thing real quick. Let's grab sling bullets so that we can use better weapons, or better ammo rather, against the most dangerous things. Like this guy. Got him. Go back to stones. Oh boy. Very, 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 very early slime creatures. It's not good for me. They can do 22 damage a pop. Just banish them. To be honest, I should have let them merge and then banish them. Save me some piety. Because there's just no way. Look at this. There's no way. Okay, getting my ass thoroughly beaten. Suddenly, I'm facing down the Chad ogre after beating up 3 or 4 of his buddies. I suddenly can't kill this one for some reason. Let's pull him up here. AV reliant defense, yeah, pretty much. Well, strength is 12 now. I think we're going to switch to chainmail. Just to avoid that exact problem. Well, we have 16 AC now, so... and better GDR. The biggest problem is that we haven't trained a weapon. And we don't have a brand on a weapon. You can cheese it, you know, if you found like a venom dagger or something, but... and we're kind of sort of cheesing it because we found a branded hunting sling, but that doesn't work forever. We have this glowing whip that... you know what? Why am I avoiding it? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, like, this is, if it's disto, I can just use it, or I can take it off because I'm Lugonu. We had this the whole time. That's a weapon. I don't know if we really have to train that much in the way of, well, we're probably going to want to train a little bit of maces and flails to get it below 1 speed. But, okay, let's check out the scale mail, I think. We have removed curse. Cursed +0 scale mail. Alright. You know what? Come to think of it, I think that makes our AC and EV, well, nah, we'll take it off. Lose 4 AC, or lose 4 EV, gain 3 AC. I'll make that trade. It's fine. Blink scroll, magic mapping, okay. Just use my 3 stacks. A ticket to victory. Pretty much tidbits. It's quite good, I have to say. Yeah, we don't have to train very much at all with this thing. I would like to get it a little bit more because it's like I'm attacking at 1.1 right now. We'd like to be attacking at 1. I guess I'll take Maces and Flails to 2. That'll bring us down to 1. Oh hey, we have our poise, so I can pretty much fight these bees. Maybe not so many at once. Always best. You'll make a mildly berating comment on my channel. Well, I shouldn't have lost the last one. There's no excuse for it, really. Good old D7 Acid Dragon. Hey, it's Baby's first book of Necromancy. We get regen. I'll take that. We'll probably get that online pretty soon. We are a deep elf after all. Shouldn't take too much training. Animate Skeleton's also really good. I should get that even though I don't want to. I never want to fool with it because it's just kind of tedious. Oh, come on, just die. There we go. But it is optimal. Alright, now hold on. What's our path here? We have a blink scroll to get out if it goes badly. I have Invis, but I don't really want to use it. What am I doing? Just banish his ass. Took 3 tries, but there we go. Finally found a good wand, so I'm going to take evocations to 5. We have 10 Ice Blast. Getting drained. This guy and his wonderful +2 Mace of Freezing are just ending my whole career via drain. There we go. See, I needed the lightning to trigger once, and then boom. Yeah, this is a good character to this is definitely a good character to have a spell or a power like Banish available. Or are you talking about the Ice Blast? Okay, this thing can do roughly 4 bajillion damage to me, so... Oh, you're talking about Banish, yeah. Okay. Speaking of Banish, I'm just not going to fool with taking electric eel damage. Just banish all of it. I don't care how much piety it takes. Vampiric Short Sword, I don't care about that. That is, in fact, the exact number, 4 bajillion. Speaking of 4 bajillion, we're about to take that much damage if I don't... Bro. Bro! Alright, we failed to Abyss like 3 times there. Got that one. So technically the priest can do 17 damage. And there he is. Wouldn't regen be nice right now? Have over 17 hit points. Careful movement pulls me up. With a freaking necrophage next to me, but that's okay. He only does 8 damage. Had to burn a blink. It was just the optimal thing to do. The only real option, to be honest. Okay, let's go for the melee. I think I'll just live with the rot for a while. It's only 1 point. Immolation is available. What is a necrophage? I don't know, I picture it as like a really nasty ghoul. Doesn't really seem all that different from a ghoul to me. Flail of Holy Wrath. I guess I'll pick it up. Won't be allowed to use it for much longer. Hey, there's a Mace of Distortion. Hey, buddy. Not that we need that weapon, but since we can make our own later. Ordinarily, I would never melee this guy, but I can just sort of leave the Abyss. So we decide to blast him down. He didn't send me to the Abyss. Yeah, no, Mace is terrible. I'll just brand a base weapon. Broadaxe sounds pretty good, despite the fact that my aptitude is -2. I'm cool with just about any endgame weapon, though. If we can find one. Let's pull this stuff up. Is there a hallway? Really? Okay. He just didn't want to do it for me. Didn't want to die. Well, it's a lot. The cleave on the axes is a lot less impressive when you're stuck using a disto weapon because things get blinked, things get teleported. It's just not quite as good. You're not really getting the power out of it. You want a demon weapon? I mean, yeah, that would be ideal, I think, due to the low min delay. Slay +2, +1 leather armor. With our poise. I guess we could use that for a while. What's my ideal disto base? Well, my ideal is to not use disto at all, but if I had to, it would probably depend on the species. So on this character with his wonky deep elf aptitudes, I think I'd probably have to say Demon Blade, or double sword, actually. Alright, I want his +2 cloak if we're going to be doing this. Also, I want to take Necromancy to 5 and Charms to 5 to get a really good regen going, and also Animate Dead for that matter. Okay, I'm just going to open with Ice Blast, to be honest. Oops. Alright, so this is something I would never do if I was streaking, because he could have survived that and then tagged me for a para, but that didn't happen. No, probably not a Demon Polearm because my aptitude is -3, so that wouldn't be my optimal choice. He left me a potion of degeneration. How cute. I should have known that because he didn't use it. In many rounds of combat, you can get a hint about potions that way. If a monster has it and didn't use it. Oh boy. I guess I'm going to use my remaining Ice Blast. We used all 5. That's fine, because he had... Oh boy. And this girl too. Well, she is taking a trip to the Abyss. Amazing. It took 5 tries. But that's okay. We have a Wand of Descent. 12 charges. I'm amazed at how many times it took to Abyss her. I think we should probably take Invo to 8. Alrighty. Just walk right up to this thing. This character actually has some good defenses, although that was a short bow that was branded with freezing. Two uniques in a row. It's pretty common for that to happen. We got shafted. Was that 2 floors? 3 floors. Amazing. Alright. We have 3 magic mapping. Why don't we use one? guess this is our little base of operations. Hello, Cryo Shakespeare. How you doing, man? Magic map again. We're a bit far from an upstairs. 3 Chaos Ghosts. I don't miss that at all, man. That's horrible. So the cool thing is we can kill Orc Warriors here. Dagger of Draining. That's a good brand. I don't know if I want to stop using my Whip of Electrocution, but the Dagger of Draining would be an awful lot more reliable. And it would make things... It would make things more likely to get banished. You like the idea of a cosplay run? Yeah, it's fun. Look how much damage we can do with this. It's so good. So yeah, Battle Axe. I mean, we could make that our disto weapon. You better believe I don't want to, though, because I want to have a shield. Cosplay as a Kung Fu Dragon Ogre, Transmuter of Wujian. 14 runes, but died in Tomb. Wow, sounds like you got really close to winning. I mean, Tomb can be a pain, for sure. Yeah, Practice Pad. It's like a run with special conducts. So, crawlcosplay.com. If you go to that site, it'll tell you some things about like what the rules are for this week. Why is the Drain Dagger better? Well, the Whip of Electrocution will attack, and basically there's a chance that it'll hit, right? But I want to say it's like a 1 in 3 chance to get a flat amount of damage. And the Dagger of Draining is also a flat amount of damage, but here, we'll look it up, just to make sure I'm not lying. 1 in 2 chance of doing an additional damage divided by 4 plus 3, so at least 3 extra damage. Which is small but serviceable, and it also applies a debuff that reduces HD, which is stackable, refreshable, and lasts 20 to 30 turns. This will reduce their MR, meaning that I can send them to the Abyss much easier. Now, Electrocution brand does way more damage, 7d, 1d13, and it's totally flat, not affected by weapon damage at all. But it's only 1 out of every 3 hits. So basically, it's like you said, I just wanted to miss less, and I like the fact that I can debuff. For the ultimate challenge, can we melee down a yak? Yes, we can. This isn't the venom that I'd like to have, but it's quite good. Can drop some of this stuff. I guess the Flail of Holy Wrath. Well, yeah. We still need a good base. Still need a good base for our disto weapon. A long sword of Holy Wrath. Not good enough. Yeah, in general, that's going to be the case for at least my choices in this game tidbits. Is like I always want to reduce variance as much as possible. It goes for everything defensive, offensive, whatever. I just want less randomness to happen, so I can reliably expect, you know, this, and this to happen, so I can make a very accurate sort of judgment call on how long it's going to take for a monster to die. And it's never going to be 100% accurate, but the more accurate I can make it, the more I can sort of make reliable expectations or reliable predictions about my world, or about the game, the better. Oh, we're getting bad luck. I had to switch to the whip, and the electric just wasn't triggering. Alright, so I wore this Amulet of Regen. Normally I would never wear ID and Amulet, but we're not playing optimally right now, we're kind of playing for fun. The reason you shouldn't wear ID Amulets is because you can get harm, which is incredibly bad and should never be used. This is a hat. +2 hat, free AC, cool. The only winning move is not to play, kind of. Alright. A lot of bees, but as long as we pull them back to this hallway and are not getting hit by all of them at once, well, we're having a much better time, aren't we? Wish we had a shield. That would be really nice for this character right now. Well, that's the thing, is like it's not bad until it becomes bad, you know? You guys want to see some light shows here? Let's see a little bit of a light show. Oh, don't meme me like this. There we go. Oh yeah. What did I do? I guess we'll take fighting to 10. It's a nice big explosion there. We're gonna have to wait for, well, not necessarily. Yeah, even without RF, we knew we could survive one explosion because it can only do 60 damage from an enemy of that size. There we go. Alrighty. You know, I should probably learn vampiric draining. Just for some narrow situations. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got a lot of experience off that. I was trying to figure out where that had gone. I guess I met all my skill training targets at the same time. So yeah, we're just kind of delaying still by training a bunch of fighting. Because believe it or not, we haven't found an in-game base weapon yet. It just doesn't exist in the game. There's a rapier, which would be kind of acceptable if I really wanted to play kind of a stabber type dude. Rapier speed. Meh. I don't think we're going to go for that. Oh, let's not fight 3 yaks at once with them all attacking me. Instead, we take them to a hallway. I think the dagger is actually a lot more accurate as well, by the way. Tidbits, if you want to hear a little bit more of my calculus there. Attack for absolutely no damage twice as fast. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of optimization that I look for in this game. I want to do nothing at top speed. Okay, it takes a while to kill these things. I mean, I'm attacking an awful lot, but luckily my EV and my AC is high enough that they can't do too much to me. Alright, awesome. It took almost the entire damn stream, which is honestly pathetic, but we made it to Lair. Sadly, we lost our first game just through my own hubris and extremely fast play. Yeah, that'd be pretty good with Usk, Cryo Shakespeare. What do we want to do now, though? Do we want to... Do we want to go deeper? We normally I wouldn't do that because I don't want to get shafted, but we already got shafted and we've already mapped those floors, so it wouldn't be as bad as normal, or as usual. Typically I go into Lair almost immediately, and people tell me I shouldn't do that, but I disagree. Oh, we can also start obeying our corruption conduct soon, if I feel like it. I would really like to get my piety full and then sort of drain it off every so often by burning a corrupt to fulfill the conduct. That's how we're gonna sort of optimally go through it. Orc might give you Demon Blade. Well, I don't trust my natural MR that much. If we look at an Orc Sorcerer, he's got a 44% chance to para. So we really need to find some body armor with MR plus on it, or a ring. I suppose that there's this shiny ring mail, which I could check. And there's a ring. Let's buy the ring first. +3 ring of strength. Well, that's an upgrade. Can't afford the ring mail anymore. Yeah, the crawl cosplay conducts. I'm doing a lot of wacky things this game because of the conducts. Yes, that's correct, Rogue Shenanigans. Yeah, I think we're just gonna... Is there a hallway close enough to matter, or do I need to fight this stuff? I think there's a hallway right here. It's not really a hallway, but good luck killing the funguses. Oh boy. I can already tell this is going to be a real exciting Lair 1. Or at least a real exciting entrance. Corrupting Abyss, or Corrupting Lair rather, is not part of the challenge, but we may end up corrupting right here. We got 1 blink, we got 4 telly. Tids, the conduct related to Disto Weapon is that once we enter a branch that has a rune in it, other than the Abyss, then we have to never ever attack again, except with either unarmed combat or weapons that have Disto on them. This is bad. This is really bad. No, it's not. I can just bend space, bro. Doesn't even cost piety. Perfect. The ghettoest of ghetto blinks. Not bad. Not bad. There we go. I think I'm underestimating my character's defenses. Oh. Do they not have HTTP? Do they not have SSL set up for crawl cosplay? I'll have to remember that for the future. My bad, sorry. Those amateurs. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really worth the trouble unless you're planning on trying to really optimize for Google. I mean, technically every site should have it, but... And Google will penalize you if you don't. Alright, so here's the real challenge. Can this character, mano a mano, defeat a spiny frog without using any abilities like Banish or Wands of Disintegrate? And I think we might be able to with this brand, even without any weapon training. Especially with regen up. But it's going to be a tricky thing. I can always vamp drain, though, believe it or not. We have just enough necromancy that it's doing a little something for us. Wow, we took no damage. Okay. That was not what I expected to happen, but... Guess you're losing your bet there, Rogue Shenanigans. You now owe me 100 bits. I think you better pay up now. Alright, man, what do we train? What should we be training here? I should probably take spellcasting to 3-ish. Pry them from your cold dead hands. Alright. Vamp Drain is underrated. It's really good. Alright, I'm going to Descent both of these things. It's worth the charges to me. Oh, wow. Gee, guys, should I use a Disto Executioner's Axe and be the dumbest, worst built character of all time? A Deep Elf with an Executioner's Axe? Yeah, they did a good job with that side, actually. I don't know about that, guys. That seems really bad. I have to say. I might have to put the veto on that. Okay, we got marked. I am a mad acolyte, that is true. Let's cast regen. With regen up and vamp drain available, I have a feeling that we can actually fight the whole floor. This character is surprising. How many bits forced you to do the Executioner's Axe? I don't know. I typically charge people like 500 if they want me to do something that's horribly suboptimal. Which that would be, I have to say. Thank you for the bits, JD Sequoia. That is 100. Do it, he says, Palpatine style. Do it. -2 aptitude, requiring 26 min delay, which I don't even want to do on a character with a halfway decent axe aptitude. All you need is Dark Maul. It's not allowed though. Man, look how good this is. This just regenning here. And then if we get in trouble, we just vamp drain a little bit. It's awesome. Never underestimate how strong regen is. To be fair, Malcolm, you don't have a shield. That's true. I've seen you train 25 to shields with a -3 and swear it was correct. Oh yeah, well that's different. That's a shield. That's another story entirely, man. Regen. I wonder how many hit points I've regenerated during this combat. Probably an outrageous amount. I just keep recasting it. Alright. 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 Alright, JD Sequoia. Oh, I appreciate it.
Power.
I guess I have to do this. What's my attack speed? 1.9 with this thing. Alright, I'll use it. Take fighting to 11. Access to 26. It is 26, right? Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, it's 26. Do I have any enchant weapons at least? Is that possible? I have to streak this run now, no throwing. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I take it very seriously. If people give me bits to see something, that's like sacrosanct. I can't rip you off. Come on. I have more respect for the community than that. I will try my best. Alright, I'll try my best to play super safe with this axe on. Alright. Do you want me to start using this immediately, or can I train it up just a little bit first? Perhaps like as soon as I can brand it with Disto and get it to +2, which will be very soon. I would train first. Well, I'm asking JD Sequoia because he's the one who gave the bits, so he gets to decide. Certainly, it would be better for survival for me to be able to use my dagger a little bit longer. You can train first. Let's be reasonable. All right, so I'm going to hold off until I have enough piety, which should be pretty soon, to brand it to Disto. And as soon as it becomes a Disto... Oh my god. Speaking of not throwing. Regen. Regen again. Didn't expect this guy to give me a problem when the Spiny Frog didn't, but I guess it makes sense considering he just eats right through my AC. Vamp drain, there we go. Let's not die before then. Well... We weren't at risk of dying, because he can only do 34 damage, and we have some GDR. We didn't get below 34 hit points, so it's okay. Significantly more of a Chad than the Spiny Frog, considering you have R poison AC. Yeah, that's 100% correct, Rogue Shenanigans. Although my GDR isn't even that good, which is one of the reasons I was surprised that the frog went down so easy. Okay, kill this thing. Get strength. We really want strength now. Pull this up. Regen. Attack, 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 attack. Well, I guess I'll magic map. There's an ice cave here. There's no RC plus though, so this could be an issue. Executioner's Axe has base damage of, let's look, 18. Triple Sword, 17. So out of regular weapons, I think that, yeah, Executioner's Axe has the absolute most, although Dark Maul probably has much more. And of course, Unarmed Combat has more than that as well. If you get it high enough. We're gonna take a look in the ice cave and see which one we got. But because I'm supposed to play optimally, we may be leaving immediately, depending on exactly what it is. Keep regen up. Man, this guy doesn't want to die. Okay. Here's our boys. I would feel much better about this if we had our C, because those clouds can just be a real pain. Technically, these guys could cause me quite an issue. I should have cast regen before fighting them. My bad. We have it up now. Okay, this changes the calculus a bit. You see what we just found? We just found a wand of flame. In fact, we already had some charges, but I'll tell you why that matters. And by the way, we're going to take evocations to 10 now. We can turn off clouds in here now. Your decision making with not using the whip was based on variance. Yes, but the Dagger of Draining simply does not... draining doesn't affect imps because they're immune to negative energy. So... at this point, it's probably better to use the whip, if only because we're getting cross-training on it, you know. Or at least it will be soon. Although soon I'll... By the glory of Twitch chat, I will soon be forced to use the Executioner's Axe as soon as I can turn it into a, Disto one. Cloud of Flame, that would be nice. Well, if this is the one with the ugly thing, and I think it is, that would be easy. What I'm more concerned about is, yeah, there he is. I'm more concerned about the statues that are kind of going to come with. I think we're going to dissent him. You know what? Do I have... well... let's try one more. And again. Swing. It's not really working. Dissent. Swing. Okay. That was very wasteful. We burned a lot of wands of dissent. I could have banished him, but I'm trying to save my piety so I can get that disto working. Yeah, I mean, I also had a blink scrolls while I was willing to take the risk there. Alright, so here's where the issue begins. First of all, we can't dissent these things. They are immune to magic. We can wand of flame them, but it takes basically forever. We can't banish them. We could, if I wanted to, here's the fun play. We could corrupt here and just get all the loot of this place. Because one of the reasons I want to do this is because occasionally... not always, but occasionally an ice cave will have like an executioner's axe in it, and we could possibly get a jump start on our enchantments. Yeah, Versailles, depending on their hit dice. High hit dice, like high danger monsters, especially uniques, always uniques, will show up in the Abyss. So if you look, Eustatio and Psyche are in there. We'll run into them later if we go into the Abyss. It's pretty cool. But sometimes even non-unique monsters like Orbs of Fire are strong enough that you'll run into them. You'll have a fun time. Quote-unquote fun. Alright, so how do we want to deal with this? Something interesting I could do is I could pop on my Mace of Disto, run up to it, and just like swing on it and get it abyssed, but that's not an option here because we lack RC. The amount of damage that we could take from even one of these statues is pretty much outrageous. So I have to say that without RC, I'm going to have to obey my streaking instincts, which is that discretion is the better part of valor. I can't think, other than burning the piety to corrupt, I can't think of a way to properly... yeah, I could corrupt. That's going to delay usage of the Executioner's Axe, or at least... well... not exactly. I mean, by the time we finish Lair, we'll have it available, I think. You know what? I'll corrupt, because we could get some good loot here. It's not that bad, yeah. Corrupt it is. Okay, so they're going to run out, and they're going to solve my problem for me. If they don't just kill each other first. That didn't take much piety at all, really. Okay, come on, guys. Go west. Don't come to me. I'm not your dad. Don't attack me, bro. That just shoved me off the staircase. Why are they so interested in giving me a hug? Come on, guys. Leave me alone. Usually I go off screen for this and they just kind of die quickly, but... Okay, so the statues are all gone. Everything's all gone, and hey, what did I say could happen? What did I say could happen? And what happened? Boom. That gives us a huge head start. +4. That is exactly what I wanted. That was completely worth. I have to use an Executioner's Axe. Nobody said I had to use that particular Executioner's Axe. Let's drop a Tropa and Datura, whatever the hell those are. Drop the Poison Darts. Sling Bullets we don't need. Staff I will not need. Box of Beasts. Dual wield them. Yeah, they will fight off screen for you. One of the few things in the game that does it. You don't get experience for it, so it's, you know, pretty fair, I think. +4 axe for president. Hell yeah. Let's drop a couple of these weapons, by the way. Hunting Sling of Velocity. I think we can go ahead and start using this. Oh wait, that's a Catoblepus. Well, what are the chances of banishing, I wonder? Alright, I'm gonna have to use the Dagger of Draining just for 1 second longer. Okay, so it was a 40% chance. I took it up from 23 to 40 by draining him. That is a super radical trick, and I recommend that you try it yourself sometime. That was a very early Catoblepus. Lair 2 is not a fun time to see those guys. We're marked again, but how much more could there possibly be in here? Gonna descent this thing. Gonna regen. Fighting at 1.8 is dangerous as hell. Okay, I am just as fast as this Hydra. Of course, we can't melee him, can we? Could banish, but I think I want the experience. I'm gonna... You know what? We have enough charges. Just Ice Blast him to death. Regen. Well, we're killing things with an Executioner's Axe, I have to say. Still quite slow at 1.8 attack speed, but we'll get there. Very dangerous thing to be doing. Holy word. I'm so tempted to burn through all these scrolls hoping that one's enchant weapon, but I know that's not right. Because I'll be wasting so many potentially awesome scrolls. Okay, that is Lunera Buff, is the name of that scroll. Do we have one with that name? We do, so effectively we kind of have a 2-stack. Okay, so it's Fog. So we... let's go ahead and make some purchases, I think. I'll replace my Scroll of Fog. We have boots, or sorry, we have gloves already, so we'll take that off. We have a hat +2, so we'll take off the helmet. Which is not going to get better unless I can enchant it. Shiny ringmail. I'm tempted to wear that instead of this leather armor, but I'm going to stick with this for now. Does Irradiate hit their hit dice as well? The Wretched status? I guess it probably does. The cool thing about Draining is that it stacks. Like Irradiate does that, but I think it only hits once. So technically I could take it to like 100% success rate banish if I really felt like it. Amazing, there's a volcano. There's a volcano and an ice cave. Very likely that we just walk right in here and then walk right out. Get the regen up. Regen is so crucial on this guy. fun thing is that even though this stuff is horribly dangerous, I can potentially slow it by attacking it with freeze until I turn this into Disto. Okay. Alright, I haven't seen this one in a long time. I think the way this works is I only get to go into some of them because the longer I take, the more the areas start getting covered in rocks or something. That's a potion of brilliance. Let's go for the unidentified potion. Oh boy. We're gonna drink resistance if we're doing this. Volcano erupts nearby, roof collapses. Alright. Well, I guess this is what we're doing today. There's a potion of might. Okay, so we have 3 might left. That's cool. I guess this is what we get. Although, can I teleport out of this and potentially land somewhere else? Is that worth it? I could corrupt. That'd be funny. Then we could get all the loot. I'm already using the Executioner's Axe, so there's no reason for me to conserve piety right now. That's hilarious. I think we're going to do that. If something really, really bad happens, I can enter the Abyss, or I do have a blink. Interesting. Really weird, actually, that it surrounded me and didn't open up any of these tiles. I'm gonna Ice Blast this dude. This is a bit spooky, but we can leave whenever we want to. Oh, well now we can't. Reach in. Alright, come on. Having the same problem we had before where there's just too much crap. I kind of want to just hang out right here where few things will hit me because there's only 2 squares for them to do so. Okay, yeah. So there's a fire dragon scale. That's interesting. That's potential endgame armor right there. Actually, let's not disrobe. Pick up the potions, pick up the ration. This was totally worth the piety, I have to say. Arbalest of Flaming we're not going to use. That's hilarious. It it locked it off again, so we didn't even really... I wonder if I could dig through this, though. This is not a mobile game, Icy Curves. You can play it in a browser, though. I mean, I guess you could play it on mobile, but it's a browser game. It's also got a standalone standalone version. It's roguelike, if you know what that is, where almost everything is procedurally generated, at least the layouts of the dungeon are. Alright, so I'm going to try to dig through this and see what happens. Okay, we freed ourselves. We got another loot pile here. Leather armor of fire resist. I guess I'll grab it. Why don't we try this cloak? I bet it's... Oh, hell yeah! Bros! It's a cloak of fire resist. I'll take 2 less AC for that. That's amazing. Very rare. Very, very unlikely to find that in a game. Drop the chainmail. We might end up in this fire dragon scale, although I doubt it. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the fire resistance leather. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll burn another dig. Get an identify scroll. Identifying our agility. I feel like I cheated. I feel like I cheated to get access to this loot. And man, I don't mind at all. Steam Dragon Scales. I'm not going to end up in Steam Dragon Scales. We won't take that. As cool as Steam Dragon Scales are. Chainmail of Fire Resist. We might end up in that. Quarterstaff of Flaming. Okay, so we got all the loot. You're not supposed to get all the loot, but I suppose that's the main benefit of worshipping Lugonu, isn't it? That you get to do shenanigans like this. Pretty cool, actually. Okay, let's drop some of the stuff that we're just sort of messing around with here. Can I wear this chainmail? 20 AC, 11 EV versus... Whoops. 13 AC, 18 EV. I know the chainmail's better, but then we don't have our poise. I get the feeling we're going to be coming back for some of this later. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to wear the cloak of our poise for the time being instead of the cloak of fire resist, and we'll wear the chainmail of RF+. So this way we have our poise and RF, and we have really high AC. That's not bad. Let's see how this works out for us. It's not going to work out as well versus these dudes, unfortunately. It also means that we can't... Oh, and that worked. It also means that we can't vamp drain anymore, but I'm okay with that. Wow, that's a very high fail rate on animate. Wow, on regen, actually. Damn. Okay, well, I can take Charms and Necro to 10. Higher spell power on that would be welcome anyway. Sentinel's Mark, that's okay. The fact is, we've got to go into Extended a little bit. So, having some Necromancy is going to be really nice anyway. Maybe, just maybe, we will end up using Necromutation. I doubt it, but it's possible. Killed an elephant, by the way. I guess we're pretty good with this axe. I expected to have a lot more trouble considering our super slow attack speed, but axe is putting in work. It's very enchanted, that certainly helps. I tell you, we'd be having a much worse time, I think, if I had been forced to use a +0 axe. But with the +4, the accuracy is just high enough that we get to tear things up. I do wish we had RC+. Alright, buddies. Descent. Descent works finally. We bail. Gonna have to banish this thing. And we fail. Alright, I'm gonna drink a heal wounds. There we go. The banish that should have worked a minute ago, but didn't. Oh, our piety's down to 4. That's fine. We'll get the Disto weapon eventually. Too much damage possible here. We attack too slowly to be doing such shenanigans. We really want to only do this with 1 or maybe 2, because they're actually able to hit me twice for every time I attack. Can you pull up Freezing Brand and talk about proc rate? Yeah, sure. So, Freeze Brand is the exact same as Firebrand, only with a different damage type. Says it increases damage by average 25% against non-cold resistant monsters, or 37.5% on vulnerable. Also slows cold-blooded monsters, that's very handy in Lair and also in Zot versus Draconians. Still increases damage by 12.5% against monsters with RC. So basically Freeze Brand is my favorite on any weapon with high base damage, you know, an Executioner's Axe, for instance. Things like Electric Brand, on the other hand, are better on... Oh man, come on. I just missed my region like 3 times. Paralyze, paralyze, there we go. Happy to burn more paralyzes on these things if it would just work. 51%, and it just doesn't want to work. So yeah, like, if you were gonna do like a quick blade, you probably want electrocution or something, because that's a flat damage. It's not based at all on the existing base damage. Whereas freeze and flaming and vorpal, or slice if you want to call it that, it's based on the existing damage. So, you're asking me freeze versus slice. Well, freeze is going to do more damage against things that are not RC. Personally, I rate them about the same as far as, like, which do I want in Zot. I mean, if I get one, I'm not going to try to hold out for the other. With that said, against some of the highest damage, most dangerous threats in the game, you are probably going to want Vorpal instead if you do, for some reason, have a choice. And the reason is because, well, Orbs of Fire are cold resist. I know that's odd, but they are. And then... what is this nonsense? Oh, right. Right, my MR is not amazing, is it? 63% chance of mass confusion. Alright, fault. We're gonna telly. My bad. I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, and when there's like a weird enemy in Lair, like an orange crystal statue, which is not supposed to be there, it kind of made me have a brain fart there, I guess. But yeah, like Orbs of Fire, you'd rather have Vorpal. Electric golems, you'd rather have Vorpal. They're resistant to cold. There's a lot of things that are straight up immune to cold. But even so, I'm very happy to have freeze. I'm very happy to have freeze in Zot because that's slowing down all the Draconians, and generally you might think that's not going to be like a problem, but trust me, it can be. Speaking of problems, if I roll poorly, this Mamba actually could come close to killing me just in one turn. Because I'm attacking so slowly, he gets a lot of attacks on me. Anti-magic is quite good against Orbs of Fire. I mean, personally, what I want the most against Orbs of Fire is, you know, if I had my choice of whatever I could possibly get, I'd pick Dragon Form because it kills them in like one hit or two hits, but anti-magic's pretty damn good. Vorpal works pretty quickly if you have a super high base damage weapon. How high do we need access to feel okay? Well, we're at 6 now and we're still attacking at 1.7. Every 2 points gets you one less or one more speed, depending on how you want to look at it. We want to take it to at least 1 to feel okay. So we need 7 more down. That means 14 more pieces of skills. So yeah, a Nani Badger got it right on the dot. 20. 20 is where it's going to feel a lot less miserable. Although we're detouring a little bit by training Charms and Necro. That's kind of a necessity, I think. Yeah, that's generally the goal for sure. 10 outs or 1 turn if you prefer. The number that shows up right here in the parentheses. Banish the snake. Alright, there's a ring here, but I don't think it's even... Is Apport available? Nah. Yeah, that's not even an artifact ring. Well, it's funny in Nani Badger, because I usually avoid Executioner's Axe, even on a pure axe guy. Even if I'm using two-handed, which I don't usually do, but if I was, typically I'll just stick with battle axes just because of the lower min delay, you know, requirement. Oh, look at me missing. That's not good. We abyssed one. Because I just can't. Even with 20 AC, these things can do 20 damage a pop. Is there nothing I can do? Throw stones at these dudes, I guess. Surprised I still have stones in my inventory. There we go. There we go. Okay, finally. Blink Frogs are probably one of the top 3 enemies in Lair for this particular character. Just really painful. Clearly this character needs dispersal boomerangs. Okay, boomerang. Now we got marked immediately. Let's pull a couple of these things up. And then we have the luxury of simply waiting the mark out and going to a different staircase. Josephine is here with her Wand of Digging. We'll just cast Regen, which we keep miscasting, and it's very, very frustrating. Wand of Flame, get her in the steam. Pull this stuff up. Wow, 3.2. I'm not doing that again. We're gonna banish her ass. We're gonna fail. We're gonna banish her ass again and fail. Banish her ass again. There we go. Being slow and attacking for 3.2 or whatever. Really, really scary. When she can do, you know, ghostly fireballs for an enormous amount of damage. That was a fault that I even tried to do that. As soon as I did it, I was like, oh, uh-oh. Because I remembered exactly what she can do. Broad Axe plus Shield is often the best choice when it comes to axes. For sure, yeah, absolutely, Tidbits. One of Scattershot is awesome versus Prince Ribbit. That's true, JF Karen. I like to use Scattershot as sort of an automatic out that lets you kill almost anything with low AC if it's next to you. Can these guys not swim? Apparently not. Amazing. Tried to pull them one at a time, it didn't quite work. Didn't even pull a single one up with me. Whoops. Try again, over here. Just getting them one at a time. These guys can do 20 damage. You can see he's already owning me. He's taking a trip to the abyss. Look at that big drain. In fact, I've spent the last long while super trained. Whoa, look at that! We miscast Regen. And it actually... Was that a Torment? Wow. Love that Necromancy miscast. Of course, our drain is so bad that of course we're miscasting. That's not surprising. Come to think of it. Alright, we have to remember this thing can hit us twice. That's 68 damage. Potential. Well, less than that because of my GDR, but now it's enough to kill me, so... I suppose I could simply banish him. We're burning through our piety like a madman, though. I don't know if I'm gonna... I may end up having to use that stupid Disto Mace for a little while just to get this thing up. There we go. Oh god. Well, that's just cheating. Alright, we pull up. Melee this stuff down. Regen. My AC is good enough that as long as he doesn't Zerk, I should be able to just juke him like so. Regen, keep miscasting, 50% fail rate. Very painful. The worst thing about this red drain is that it's also cutting down the length of the regen. Okay, got him. Got him. I would like to turn into a GSC dancing weapon rogue shenanigans. Sounds pretty good to me. Okay, I shouldn't have come back down, but that's okay. I mean, it worked out. But it might not have. I thought I was going down a different staircase, I just wasn't paying enough attention. Where did I get the red drain? There was, where did I get the red drain? Lugonu, or not Lugonu, Josephine had a... She didn't ghost fireball me too much. So no, it wasn't her. I don't think. It's possible I got some from miscast. I think that can drain you. There was something, oh, it was the Hell Rats. it was the Hellrats. Hellrats have a draining brand attack. Which is very, very horrible. And we had to fight a whole damn pack of them, unfortunately. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not fighting such a pack of yaks at the same time as a pack of blink frogs. No way. We can pull these guys up piecemeal, though. I feel okay about fighting like this, like just 2 or 3 of them. Now I think we try the third staircase. A lot of stair dancing today, but what are you gonna do? This is Lair 5, not Lair 6. You would think that this would be more like a Lair 6, but we've just gotten kind of a tough one, you know. Oh, if we can just keep that guy slowed, I feel so much safer. Yeah, they do drain very fast. If you look at them, well, okay, Hell Rat. If you look at them, they're actually fast. I think that translates to maybe speed 13. So they'll get 2 attacks on you pretty regularly. Okay, we'll fight the Torpor Snail by himself, which is, of course, the way you would like to fight Torpor Snails, not in a pack with other things. Nice. Our axes are coming up slowly but surely. I probably should have focused them down a little harder than I am, but I value regen quite a lot. And also, we're going to have Vamp Drain again, even in this armor. So it's good. Hey, we do have enchant weapons. Boom, boom. +6 execution is acts of freezing. Once we get Disto, it's going to be +8 minimum. Probably +9, because surely we're going to find another enchant weapon. That's extremely helpful. Those 2 points of accuracy, not even the damage, but just the accuracy, are huge right now. Nice. We just killed both in one hit. So swingy. Axe accuracy, alright. Very cool. Alright, so we already have a +2 hat. I suppose I can take a look at this helmet and see. I mean, I don't have any armor. No, I have a little armor training. Let's see. 20 AC. Okay, 19 AC, so it's not enough to, with my armor training, to do anything for me. Okay. Be nice if we found some boots. See Invisible. We have a swap for See Invisible. I'm going to keep the Strength on because that gives me a point of EV. And it makes me do more damage. Alright, so we have a bit of uptime here. I think I've been streaming way longer than I intended to, about 3 hours, so I think that's probably going to be it for the night. Sorry that I splatted the first game. I was just playing too fast and kind of got ahead of myself with all the aspects of the challenge, I guess. But luckily, we have this nice character going, and I've been bribed to use an Executioner's Axe, even though it's very, very silly. Thank you for the follow. If I can look at the name, Cryo Shakespeare. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for the following. But yeah, I mean, next time we'll finish up Lair 6. We may skip and go to Orc first or something. Something we really want to get before we go into Orc, if possible, is MR+. That can show up on body armor, so I can try this dyed leather armor, I can try this ring mail, maybe we'll find something else. It can also show up on base jewelry, so that gilded ring, sadly, that gilded ring with the orange crystal statue guarding it could be MR+. I think the only way we would be able to sanely deal with that would be to corrupt, which we don't want to do yet because we really want to get our Disto weapon. But those are all ideas and plans for next time. So, again, I appreciate all the bits, and I appreciate you guys coming to my stream. But until next time, I am signing out. Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.